With the stock market at record highs, are you prepared for the next downturn? Corrections can be unforgiving. Smart investors know diversification is the key to financial security. Noble Gold Investments make it easy to diversify with gold. With over $2 billion in sales, Noble Gold has helped thousands of Americans add gold to their portfolios. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins as a thank you. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Don't let the next correction catch you off guard. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
All right, Charlie. So I ran for state senate because our government doesn't work well. There's a lot of waste. There's a lot of bloat. And yet the things that you're advocating about going against are what help people. Everybody's here because they support freedom. Because as you say, we want a freer market, we want a freer place. And yet these policies like destroying the Department of Education, which I'm a teacher for, hurts our ability to take power in the marketplace. It just adds to the few rich people owning all of us. Right now in America, the top 0.01% have an average $600 million of wealth. The bottom half have an average $7,000. And by destroying the Department of Education, the Center for Budget, the Consumer Protection Bureau, that is actively helping those rich people take all of our money. Prove me wrong.
Okay, so Trump's been president for 6 weeks.
Sure.
Right. So we had an oligarchy as Donald Trump was becoming president.
Yes.
We had all these agencies. How did they prevent the oligarchy?
They didn't. No, we have a bad oligarchy, but Trump is increasing our oligarchy. He had Jeff Bezos, he had Tim Cook, he had the richest people on the earth who have more money than the bottom half of the country combined sitting right behind him.
Hold on a second.
And Elon Musk is helping those regulations get destroyed so they can take even more power.
As an attendee. But let's go through one by one.
And they donated to it.
So let's go one by one.
Sure.
Let's first go the Department of Education. So the Department of Education, which I'm guessing you're in favor of like $47 million going to improving learning outcomes in Asia.
Yeah,
okay,
because helping other people helps us. I'm a teacher. When other people don't match our economy, when they can't participate in it, everybody's hurt by that.
So I do have a question though. We're not even helping ourselves. Why should we help other countries?
So you're right. We should help ours. You're right. We should help ourselves more, and that means funding the Department of Education, funding healthcare.
Let me finish.
Go.
How does one help oneself? Have educational outcomes gotten better or worse since the creation of the Department of Education?
The bloated Department of Education, you are right. We're spending way too much money on administration. That money needs to be go to funding school meals. That needs to be reducing class sizes.
You sound like a Doge advocate, man.
No, because Doge is not doing that. By destroying the Department of Education, they're not funding Title I classrooms. If we funded Title I classrooms with the money that we promised, every single classroom would get a paraprofessional, which would help my students immensely. So they are failing. And as you're saying before, that Florida is the most equitable state. It's not. The richest students get $2,000 more to their schools every year than the fourth quartile students.
So I am curious, though, that the Department of Education, we've seen standards go down. They want to send it back to the states. By definition, we have the Department of Education. 11 million people are in education like yourself. 11 million of them. 6.7 million are administrators. 6.7 million are administrators. Can we agree we should fire most of those administrators?
It would. Look, I can't say that because I don't know what those administrators are doing. I think we have way too much money going to them.
You're a teacher. Time out. I got to interrupt you. Are you a teacher?
Yeah.
What do the administrators in your school do?
They help us out a lot. I mean, do you think I could manage my classroom if I didn't
absolutely.
You are wrong.
No,
I could not manage my classroom unless I had an administration helping me out.
You need 5 administrators for every 1 teacher. That's the ratio.
That's bad. You're right. That's bad.
Okay, but that's the current ratio. So 5 to 1. But secondly, let me ask you. This is a very important point.
It should be reduced, but destroying the Department of Education is not the answer, because then you hurt the American economy by not allowing people to build up their human capital.
Time out. We already have the evidence. From the advent of Department of Education, we are now 26 in education. We were top 5 when it started. We're the lowest in reading, math, arithmetic in the Western world. Department of Education has made our standards substandard, and we spend $250 billion a year on the Department of Education, and yet our kids we can't find a single kid that can read at grade level in a Baltimore public school or that can do math in a Chicago public school. And yet we keep on spending billions of dollars on it. So maybe the solution is crush the current system, Send the money back to the states, empower families and parents, moms and dads, spend the money as they see fit, more choice, more competition, and make it localized, not federalized.
So here's the problem. The state of Florida introduced a bill. My opponent introduced a bill to provide $7,000 for school choice in Florida. That's government waste. A lot of that money is going to Disney, to cruises. That's increased waste. It's also every dollar that's taken out of the Florida public education system given to private families. 75% of that is going to families that
You're against school choice?
75%. I'm not against school choice as long as we fund education properly, but 75% of the money is going to families that can already afford education, which means my students are getting $3 billion taken out of their education to go directly to the richest Floridians.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I understand. So you're against the money going to homeschooling? Like, what do you mean by this Disney thing? You're talking way too fast.
So we need money going to where it's needed. To school meals.
What is your critique? You're saying $3 billion going to what? I'm not.
So $3 billion is being taken out of the public education system
and going
given
where?
directly to the people who can
For
already
what?
afford a private education.
For what reason?
To help people get their private education.
Okay,
The problem
got
is
it.
there also weren't restrictions on that to limit what the private schools could raise their tuition by.
You're totally wrong. I get what you're saying. What you're saying, though, well, it's because
Show me the facts.
It's their taxpayer dollars that are coming back as a refund, right?
It's also the public taxpayer dollars that put into public money and they were given back to private individuals rather than going to the public system.
It's their
No,
own
because you're
money that's
advocating
coming
for the rich
back.
people stealing our tax dollars.
Hold on, it's easy to say like the rich people.
Yeah.
Right?
The 75% of the money is going to
How
private
do you
education.
define rich, by the way? How much money a year is rich?
If you can afford a private education, which is anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 a year, you are rich. And 75% of the money going to the private and 75% of the money go. Half of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. If you can afford $40,000, you're richer than most people. Now, 75%. 75% of the money that is going from the public education system into the private system is going to those who can already afford private education.
What is the number one predictor of student success?
How many years a teacher has been an educator?
Yeah, actually, the quality of this teacher. So, can we agree at least, because we'll not agree on everything, that we should be able to fire teachers at will?
At will is what do you mean at will? For what cause?
If you're a bad teacher.
What do you mean by bad teacher?
I mean, you're on
the
the line.
No, what do you mean by bad teacher?
Yeah, someone who doesn't listen to their students, is not good at what they do, graded by other teachers.
For cause, not at will. Yes, we should fire teachers for cause.
Okay, but I think that do we have too many teachers or not enough teachers?
We have in Hillsborough County alone, we're missing 1,200 across the state of Florida. Across the state of Florida, there are 5,000 teachers. That's 50,000 students without an educator. You asked me a question. Let me finish.
We need better, higher paid teachers.
Yes, absolutely. And Florida has the 48th lowest average teacher pay.
Why do you think that is?
Because we have a Republican-controlled state for the past 30 years that are increasingly taking away money for teachers.
But hold on. If I'm not mistaken, Florida is in the top 5, if not the number 1, on educational outcomes for students, right?
On them passing, not actual outcomes. On them passing.
So that's number 1 in the country, I think, though, right? And it was like number 30 or 40 back before school choice was. So I'm just curious at your complaint here. But it's fine. Let's just kind of go back to the thing. We'll go to the next question.
Sure.
The Department of Education, why should the federal government have any role in education?
Because spending that money on helping people helps the entire
economy.
No, wait.
That's not where the money's going.
Let me finish. Helping people helps the entire economy.
How has that worked?
When you let people fall through the cracks, it destroys our economy. It's more expensive. When you take away the Consumer Protections Bureau, that helps $16 billion of scams go back to the American people. That helps our economy because then they can take place in the marketplace. What you're advocating for is to reduce the things that push people into the marketplace, to increase the barriers, and to destroy the freedom of our marketplace.
Again, you have not answered the question. Let's just reiterate it. Department of Education.
That answer because it helps people.
Got started in 1979.
That was the question.
The same sort of nice-sounding stuff we started to do over the last 35, 40 years. And we have the lowest standards ever had. We have childhood poverty all over the place. We have broken public schools because spending money from D.C. does not solve the problem. Empowering parents does. So parental agency is the solution, not bureaucratic empowerment.
Spending money on spending. The federal
Got to get to the next one.
1 second. The federal government spending money based solely on tests hurts people. Because then we don't get the money going to critical thinking, which your misinformation machine succeeds on. Because when people can't critically think, they accept your assertions as reality.
So, last question. Hold on. So, you would say I'm a misinformation machine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine. You're a teacher.
Yes.
What is a woman?
What is a woman? Oh, buddy. All right. So, we define gender as a set of preferences that you have. Gender is a set of preferences we have. Woman is a social construct that we've agreed upon. Typically, we imagine womanhood as makeup or whatever. There is a difference between the word woman and being a biological female. Woman is a social construct that we use. Listen for a second. I'm telling you what it means. Woman is a social construct. We agree on these set of preferences. If I tell you that I'm a man, it's because I want you to know that I like these set of preferences. If I tell you I'm a woman, it's because I want you to know that I agree with these set of preferences.
Can men give birth?
Can men or can males? Because males can't. Listen for a second. If you listen to your bio professors, you would understand there's a difference between biology and what we think
So
about.
I want to thank you for proving a great point.
What?
You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Thank you very much.